Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting my report on evaluation and control, a critical component in strategic management. This presentation highlights how organizations assess performance and adapt their strategies to achieve success. Let's dive into the details. So, evaluation and control are indispensable in ensuring that an organization stays aligned with its strategic goals. They involve monitoring performance, comparing results to objectives, and taking corrective actions. This process helps organizations remain competitive, responsive, and efficient in dynamic markets. So the process of strategic management requires evaluation and control since they are tools for determining if a company is successfully accomplishing its strategic objectives. In this procedure, performance is tracked, actual results are compared to predetermined goals, and remedial action is taken as needed. So here we have a guide on measuring performance. This is the evaluation and control process. To make sure that plans are carried out as planned and provide the required outcomes, evaluation and control are used. So organizations can find areas of success, pinpoint inefficiencies, and modify tactics to match changing conditions by methodically examining performance measures. This dynamic process keeps the organization focused and guarantees that resources are distributed as efficiently as possible, avoiding departures from strategic goals. A culture of accountability is also fostered via efficient evaluation and control, where each organizational unit is aware of its part in accomplishing overall objectives. So here we have first determine what to measure. Okay. Next we have establish predetermined standards. And the third one is measure performance. So when you measure the performance, you're going to ask if does the performance match the standards. So if your answer is yes, then you have to stop in this section already because of course your performance matches already this with the standards. But if the answer is no, you have to take corrective actions, and then you will go back again to the step number 3, which is the measure performance. Then again have the question, does the performance match with the standards? So if it is yes, so and again just doing the cycle all over again. So, strategic planning and execution are connected by evaluation and control, so which guarantees that an organization's activities stay on course. So even well-designed plans run the danger of failing because of subpar execution or unanticipated difficulties if appropriate review procedures are not in place. These procedures offer feedback loops that let management evaluate success of their projects and make adjustments in real time. So there are three main types of controls. We have first the input controls, next the behavior controls, and output controls. Input controls ensure that resources like skills, um, funding, and materials align with strategic goals. Behavior controls, standardized methods and processes to ensure consistent executions. And finally, output controls measure results against targets such as revenue growth or customer satisfaction. Performance measurements is key to determining the effectiveness of an organization's strategies. Metrics like ROI and EPS help evaluate financial health, while non-financial indicators such as customer satisfaction and innovation provide a broader perspective on success. So together, these metrics guide informed decision making. KPIs ensure that all activities contribute to long-term performance by assisting businesses in coordinating everyday operations with strategic goals. So for everything to be balanced and successful, okay, you have to have the performance measurements. Okay. So to evaluate and control performance, organizations use several tools. Activity-based costing assigns cost based on activities that create value. So we also have the balance scorecard. It integrates financial and non-financial measures for a holistic view. We also have benchmarking, comparing practices with industry leaders. Benchmarking is very important. And we have the ERM, Enterprise Risk Management, which mitigates risk in strategic execution. So all of these are very important. You know what imparts me the most is the benchmarking. It's very important in with our profession also, because sometimes no social media, um you see a lot of good things in social media, and sometimes it's going to let you feel like you are out of the league already, but you have to do benchmarking because you do not know, um with what you see, you also do not know what are the existing problems um that others are facing. So benchmarking is very important. Okay, not just in business, even in our personal life. That is very important. So here, financial metrics like ROI, ROE, and EPS are vital for assessing profitability and shareholder returns. So ROI, or return on investment, evaluates an investment's profitability in relation to its cost, giving a clear picture of how well resources are being used. So this measure is frequently used to compare investment opportunities or assess the viability of projects. Next, we have the ROE, or the return on equity. This evaluates the profitability produced per dollar or per peso of shareholder equity, providing information on how well a business makes use of its capital to turn a profit. So for investors who want to know how efficient their stock contributions are, so this is very crucial. And we have the EPS, or the earnings per share. This determines the percentage of a business profit that can be attributed to each outstanding share of common stock. It is a crucial metric for assessing profitability and significant determinant of stock value. When taken as a whole, these measures offer a thorough understanding of financial performance, assisting stakeholders in making wise choices. Additionally, um, economic value added, or EVA, measures the value generated beyond the cost of capital, while market value added, or MVA, shows investor confidence in the in the organization's growth. Okay, so here again we have the EVA. It measures the value generated beyond the cost of capital. Okay. So this is the formula. We have a formula for the EVA. And we have the MVA. It shows investors' confidence in the organization's growth. Okay. So again, for the EVA, it measures the value generated beyond the cost of capital. So it also emphasizes value creation for shareholders by concentrating on a company's capacity to produce returns above its cost of capital. It is computed by deducting the cost of capital from the net operating profit after taxes of the business. So EVA assists in determining if a business is actually generating economic value or just meeting its expenses. So you have to remember this formula. So while of course market value added measures, so again this shows investors' confidence in the organization's growth potential. So MVA calculates the discrepancy between the capital contributed by creditors and shareholders and the entire market value of the company. Strong investor confidence in the company's prospects for growth and profitability is indicated by a high MVA. By emphasizes long-term value creation, these metrics go beyond conventional financial measurements and offer important insights into a company's ability to produce long-term wealth for its stakeholders. For the non-financial performance metrics, they promote organizations with critical insights beyond financial outcomes, focusing on operational and customer-centric factors. First, we have the um not okay, first we have the customer satisfaction. It represents the company's capacity to fulfill or beyond client expectations, which is essential for keeping devoted clients and encouraging goodwill. Second, we have the innovation. So another important indicator that promotes the creation of new goods, services, or procedures, which propels long-term growth. Leading companies spend in research and development to provide customized solutions, demonstrating that organizations emphasize innovation to remain competitive. And lastly, we have the internal process improvements. These strive to cut waste and increase efficiency while making sure that operational workflows successfully support corporate goals. So, when taken as a whole, these indicators provide a fair assessment of an organization's internal and external performance. Sustainability metrics are increasingly crucial as organizations address environmental challenges while ensuring long-term viability. So again, customer satisfaction is very important. Fulfilling the client's needs and expectations are vital for a business to grow. Evaluating ourselves through customer satisfaction will allow us to delve into decisions that leads to profitability. So in the field that I am working as an architect, customer satisfaction is very important. Though in the construction world, this is a very difficult road and journey until the completion of the project. But designers like us, we innovate, provide solutions, and improve. responsibility centers are used to isolate a unit so it can be evaluated separately from the rest of the corporation. Each responsibility center therefore has its own budget and is evaluated on its use of budgeted resources. It is headed by the manager responsible for the center's performance. So we have five major types of responsibility centers. We have the standard cost centers, revenue centers, expense centers, profit centers, and the investment centers. And we also have here the guidelines for proper control. Number one, as you can see here, we have the control should involve only the minimum amount of information needed to give a reliable picture of events. Controls should monitor only meaningful activities and results regardless of measurement difficulty. The third one, controls should be timely so that corrective action can be taken before it is too late. The fourth one, long-term and short-term controls should be used. And the fifth one, controls should aim at pinpointing exceptions. And lastly, we have the emphasize the reward of meeting or exceeding standards rather than punishment for failing to meet standards. So aligning incentives, we have management. The board of the directors should create an incentive program that promotes desirable performance in order to guarantee alignment between the goals of the company as a whole and the needs of the employees as individuals. So we have three approaches here. As you can see, we have the weighted factor method, the long-term evaluation method, and the strategic funds method. Weighted factor method, this is particularly appropriate for measuring and rewarding the performance of top SBU managers and group level executives when performance factors and their importance vary from one SBU to another. So here we have a figure about business strength or competitive position using portfolio analysis. One corporation measurements might contain the following variations. So the performance of high performing or the star SBUs is measured equally in terms of ROI, cash flow, market share, and progress on several future-oriented strategic projects. The performance of low growth but strong cash cow SBUs, in contrast, is measured in terms of ROI, market share, and cash generation, and the performance of developing question mark SBUs is measured in terms of development and market share growth with no weight on ROI or cash flow. So again, particularly measuring and rewarding the performance of top SBU managers. So next we have, this is actually a long-term evaluation method. This compensates managers for achieving objectives set over a multi-year period. So an executive is promised some compensation based on long-term performance. Next, we have the strategic funds method. This encourages executives to look at developmental expenses as being different from expenses required for current operations. The accounting statement for a corporate unit enters strategic funds as a separated entry below the current ROI. In conclusion, evaluation and control are vital for aligning strategy with performance, ensuring organizational success. My recommendations include using both financial and non-financial metrics, fostering collaboration to avoid sub-optimization, and adopting tools like the Balance Scorecard to maintain a comprehensive view of progress. So thank you very much and have a blessed day.